Hi there and welcome to this video review of the Mars 300 Pro wireless HDMI video system by Hollyland. Now Hollyland were kind enough to send me a unit for the purpose of this review, but they're not paying me in any way and the thoughts and opinions expressed are entirely my own. Now with that being said, let's jump on into the video review. Now the Mars 300 Pro is similar in many ways to a lot of other wireless HDMI systems out there. And I've actually done reviews of other Hollyland products, the Mars 300 and the Mars 400S unit. So if you're interested in those, do check the link in the description below. In terms of the design of the unit, their metal construction, they're very similar to the 300 unit and the 400S units that I've tested. Now the antennae in these units are actually built in, and that's got an advantage because it's one less thing to worry about. You're not having to screw them in. You're not worrying that if they fall on the floor or take a knock that the antennae are going to snap off. On the other hand, I wasn't quite sure if it would be able to live up to the range of 300 foot, hence the name Mars 300 Pro, via its transmission system. However, I did some tests and the 300 foot line of sight holds up pretty true. So that's around 100 meters. What I'm actually interested more than line of sight is how it operates in a congested environment. And I was filming throughout a location with several walls and actually several floors, and the system held up absolutely fine. They have a small OLED screen on the side of both units, which enable you to see the strength of the signal and also what channel it is connected to. And that's just pretty handy. It doesn't really display that much information, but it's just everything that you need quickly at a glance. In terms of operation and ease of use, the 300 Pro is just like the other units I've used from Hollyland. You take them out of the box, you connect them up, you put some batteries on and they will automatically pair, and within a few seconds you have that feed on your external monitor. And when you're on a busy shoot or set, having kit that you can take out of the bag and you know that you're not going to have to mess around with setting up is a really big plus. So in terms of the configuration I have here, I have a Panasonic GH4 which is connected to the transmitter. That's sending a signal to the receiver. What I also have on camera is I'm using the HDMI loopout functionality of the Mars 300 Pro, so I can view the camera signal on a larger monitor as well on camera. And then the receiver unit is actually connected to a FieldWorld F5 Pro monitor, and this is connected to a single Sony NPF battery. There's a dummy power terminal which I've connected the Mars 300 Pro receiver to, and then obviously I'm connected via HDMI to the monitor. So it's a really clean setup because it allows me to power both the monitor and the HDMI receiver off a single battery, and I've just got a single HDMI cable to view the video feed on that. So this is just one of the ways that the Mars 300 Pro allows you to set it up. Another option that you also have is monitoring the video feed through the Hollyland app, and this is on mobile devices, so tablets and smartphones. And what the 300 Pro does is it sends a Wi-Fi signal out which you connect your device to, and then you can monitor your camera feed on your mobile device. The benefit of using the app is that not only are you able to view your video feed on any mobile device, but you also have a handy number of tools in the app like vector scopes, waveforms, false colors. So it's kind of like turning your mobile device into an on-set monitor. By default, the units are powered by Sony NPF batteries, but they do also handily have a USB-C connection on there. And this unit here, I'm actually powering off a power bank. That's really handy because especially if you're dealing with a static setup that you're going to be shooting for a long period of time, you may be only using small Sony NPF batteries. These will probably last half an hour to an hour, whereas a sort of 10 or 20,000 milliamp hour power bank can last you all day. So being able to power them that way is really useful. In terms of the latency that the units introduce, it's quoted by Hollyland at 0.08 seconds. And from testing and measuring that I did, I found this to be pretty much spot on. Now, 0.08 seconds at 24 frames a second is only 1/3 of a frame, so it is barely noticeable. What people often find when connecting wireless HDMI units, especially to prosumer cameras, is that the latency that they're seeing is not actually introduced by the wireless HDMI units, but it's a limitation of the camera when it outputs a signal over HDMI. So that is something to bear in mind depending on what camera system you are using. A lot of the times, a little bit of latency isn't necessarily a problem, but if you are shooting things that are especially fast-paced, moving very quickly, you can see that lag in what you're actually viewing on your monitor versus what your camera is actually filming. The units will transmit a signal up to 1080p and up to 60 frames a second. So if you are shooting, for example, in high resolutions 4K, you can still obviously view that feed. You'll just need to make sure your camera is down converting that 4K signal through HDMI, sending a 1080p signal out, and then you can view that on a monitor just fine. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that the transmitter unit does have a small fan on board, and this is used for obviously cooling the unit. Sometimes this may be a problem if you are recording on-camera sound. For me, it's very, very rare, but having the option in the menu of the system to turn that fan off, which this unit does have, is really handy. And it just means that if you are wanting to completely silence the unit, you can do that. So overall, my opinion of the Mars 300 Pro is that it's another great wireless HDMI system by Hollyland. What I really like about their kit is that it just works. You take it out of the box, you connect it up, and you're good to go. I think with the 300 Pro now in the lineup that you've got such a wide range of products on offer that there's pretty much something in there for all types of needs and budgets. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you've got any questions or comments, please drop them below. I'll get back to you. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.